The current crisis has revealed 4 ways that GCSEs are broken. I'm going to explain what those are, and then let's think about some solutions. As you know, the current grading by Ofqual of this year's GCSE exams is being carried out on a statistical model. Yes, teachers have been asked to grade each student, but then they've been asked to distinguish between students by ranking them all within each subject. What this means is that half of grades, as Ofqual say, are likely to be changed. There are several reasons for this, but this is the one that shows why GCSEs are broken. Ofqual is going to use SATs results to ensure what they call comparable outcomes. These are the SATs that Year 11s took when they were in Year 6. And this is not new. It's the system by which we have always awarded GCSE grades. Broadly speaking, it means that the top 19% of students achieve grades 7 to 9. The bottom 30% have to achieve grades 1 to 3. And that is set every single year. This is a ludicrous position. It means that no matter what students know and no matter what actual mark they get in the exam, their achievement is graded in these percentages. If our schools got worse every single year and our students learned less and less, the same percentage would still achieve excellent grades. On the other hand, if our schools get better and better every year and students know more and more, this will never be reflected in their grades. The same percentage limits will apply, so that only a certain percentage are allowed to have an excellent grade. We would expect, wouldn't we, the millions invested in pupil premium funding, free school meals and turning schools into academies ought to have helped students know more. But the current system stops us from ever finding out whether we're just wasting taxpayers' money. This is a deeply flawed, even a nonsensical way to run an exam system. Imagine if driving tests worked that way and passes were allocated according to preset percentages. Imagine that this month all the students had been terrible, and so the fact that you bumped into a pedestrian but didn't break anything meant that you were still good enough to pass because you were in the top percentiles. Or in the next month everybody's brilliant and you hardly make any mistakes, but you fail because you didn't check your mirror when you were turning left. Of course, the reason this doesn't happen, that we aren't confined to a certain percentage who are allowed to pass, is that people would die. We know what drivers need to be able to do, and so our test makes sure that they know it. The same is true when we train doctors or pilots or accountants or any other number of roles where knowledge really matters. Yet, with our young people, we don't do this. Our exam system effectively says knowledge doesn't really matter. Now, Ofqual, the union representing head teachers, is asking for GCSEs to change for next year, to cut out stuff, to simply not test knowledge. And Ofqual, the defender of the exam system, has agreed. The gatekeeper to the exams themselves, Ofqual, admits the exams are broken. They don't believe in the knowledge that we teach. If you want to see this in action, visit a cafe on the continent and speak perfect English to whoever's serving you, who by definition has not succeeded in their education system, and yet they speak a language far better than we do. Why? Because they teach knowledge, not GCSEs. Since September 2019, Her Majesty's Inspectors, led by Amanda Spielman, has been looking for schools to teach a valuable curriculum. Teachers agree, leaders agree, MPs agree. So why would they tolerate an exam system that doesn't value knowledge? It's time for change. The first solution is to have only one exam board for each GCSE subject. This would allow us to agree on what we should teach, what knowledge we think is valuable for our students. Exam boards and publishers would want to publish quality resources, brilliant textbooks that taught students what we believe they need to know. Solution number 2, set a pass mark for every single grade and keep it the same every single year. Each exam board would have 12 months to make sure that the standard of their exam was accurate. There would be no more incentive for schools to cheat the system by choosing the easiest course. And if one year there were 25% grade 7s and above, and the next year there were only 5%, then so be it. It would show what students actually know. The qualification would mean the same every single year. And solution number 3 looks at well-being. In the 2019 PISA tests, only 53% of British 15-year-old students said they were satisfied with their life, compared to 67% of other European students. Our students have a recipe for stress, burnout and increased anxiety. It's called the GCSE exam system, where they sit 30 exam papers every year. The solution is to spread exams over year 10 and year 11 with different windows in November, May and June, so students could take 2 or 3 at a time when they were ready. Now, the biggest barrier to this is obviously money. But what would it cost? It would cost not a single penny. Yes, the exam boards might complain that they were losing custom. Well, our government has invested billions in a furlough scheme. I'm sure they'd be able to reach a settlement with the exam boards so that we get GCSEs which mean something. And what should you do next? Write to your MP. A copy of this video is in the description below, as is the link to find the email address of your MP. Because if one MP gets 5 emails from different students, they'll want your voice to be heard. My channel has 58,000 subscribers. We ought to be able to do something. Do it. Do it now. Don't worry about subscribing or watching the next video appearing on this screen. Copy and paste the letter in the description and send it to your MP. If we're not going to change now, when are we?